welcome to the School of Love, the place where miracles are normal. Hello and welcome to the School of Love, the place where we learn practical tools based on scientific research and our own experience towards improving ourselves, living life to its fullest, and contributing to the best of our abilities to the world around us. I am Dr. Grajdian and I'm a professor of media studies and anthropology at Hiroshima University. In my free time, I am doing my best to guide you in building up a life of contentment, joy, and fulfillment while applying lessons learned in school to overcome the difficulties, challenges, and insecurities of the real world. In today's video, I talk about how to understand and practice forgiveness in 3 simple steps. As someone who has done a lot of mistakes in the past, I know how challenging and even daunting this can be. First, the decision to forgive oneself and others, and then to stick with the decision to actually do something about it. But sometimes we just find ourselves in the situation to must forgive in order to move on for whatever reasons which might have led to that situation and which might have kept us in it. We feel stuck and we feel increasingly resentful. Experience as well as research show that staying there will only make matters worse. By the end of this video, you will have 3 simple steps to implement in understanding and then practicing forgiveness so that you can move forward in life with serenity and dignity. And now, first things first, that is 2 important disclaimers. The first disclaimer serves to strongly emphasize the fact that this YouTube channel, The School of Love, is not part of my educational and research activities at Hiroshima University. It is nonetheless part of my privilege, joy, and sense of duty to propagate and implement knowledge, information, as well as motivation and inspiration outside the limited framework of academic endeavors. Together, we can build up a better tomorrow for as many of us as possible. The second disclaimer relates to the fact that I am a trained musician and musicologist, and not a psychologist, therapist, or counselor. The ideas I am sharing in my videos reflect my deep-going preoccupation with life, my own life and other people's lives, and express the results of my experiences, research, and, for better or for worse, my failures, and my recovery from those failures. Recovery which is continuously ongoing. The ideas expressed in the videos on this channel named The School of Love cannot and may not and must not replace the consultation with specialists in whichever areas of your life you might have questions or you might struggle with. If you are new to the channel, at this moment I would like to ask you to please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting. Thank you very, very much. This helps us not only with that mysterious algorithm which seems to dominate the galaxy of YouTube, but also with contributing to the expansion of the community of humans doing their best to impact positively the world and those around them by discovering their authentic selves and living life wholeheartedly. Thanks again. And now let's go back to the real topic of this video, which is how to understand and practice forgiveness. Again, another disclaimer at this point is that I always think this forgiveness is overrated and we shouldn't talk so much about forgiving and forgiveness, because in my opinion it puts very much pressure on the victimized person to forgive the aggressor and to forgive oneself. And if anything, this is the final step of any healing process, is not the beginning. At the beginning, you really have to deal with first things first, which are, for instance, to find meaning in all the suffering which one might have been through. But and forgiveness comes later. Forgiveness comes afterwards, not before healing, and it has to be a very conscious process, so that we do not forgive just to get rid of the uncomfortable emotions, but we forgive because we feel like forgiving from our innermost self, and not because someone tells us you must forgive. We are not God. We are just humans, eternal beings having a temporary bodily experience, as New Age people say. No, but no. Going back to to serious matters, forgiveness is overrated, but it's also a very necessary element. In this video, I explain these 3 simple steps. Some might argue simple but not plain, but not easy. But this depends really of how we frame these sort of protocols. Some of you might already know I've been through a lot of trouble in my life. I'm partially self-inflicted, partially because I allowed it to happen, partially because people are just people. And I have found it very helpful at some point, really, as much as I wanted to hold those grudges, that it is actually very, very beneficial for me and for those I really love, I truly care about, if I just train myself in letting go and in forgiveness. And it was one of the best decisions of my life to work on this ability of mine to forgive those who I thought might have wronged me. Yeah, maybe I'm sure they thought they were right. I don't know. It actually doesn't matter. What matters is that I let go of what has happened, and that I can move forward in my life with a sense of, as I said at the beginning, serenity and dignity, with a sense of, I am who I am, I do my best. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I don't. And the same goes for the others. And most of the time when I do something, I'm very convinced that I do the right thing. So other people think the same. So their truth, their their truth and what they do is correct for them, even though from my perspective that might be wrong. But to each his own or her own. So the first step in understanding forgiveness, because it's important that forgiveness is I would say is actually a very intellectual process rather than emotional, at least in my experience. And we have to understand forgiveness. We have to understand why it is necessary and how it functions. Yes, it liberates us from the pain of the past and from the poison someone else's which was meant for someone else, and all these platitudes people move around. First place is to understand forgiveness, to understand the need for forgiveness, and what that forgiveness indeed gives us closure we need. And this is also the first step. The first step is awareness, which then leads to understanding. The awareness that forgiveness will give us the freedom and the peace of mind and the closure we have been looking for whatever which has happened. And once we have this awareness that forgiveness is the final step, and it is not something we do because we have to, it's not an obligation, it's something which we do because it is good for us. It's nurturing and nourishing our souls, because it puts to rest the grudges, the hatred, the suffering, the pain, and it transcends the bad memories into life experiences. So awareness is the first step. Some people, they say some people cannot change and cannot forgive because suffering and pain and the grudges have become so much entrenched with their identity, have become so much a part of their sense of self that forgiving would mean losing something of themselves. And I think this is true. This is true, for better or for worse. I think I used to be one of those persons, but and we may not judge those persons. We just allow everyone to be, or each person to be the way he or she is. I'm not saying they're choosing this, they're just doing it. Maybe it's the only alternative they have. And our duty is to allow this to be the same, the way it is. So awareness is the first step. And second step, which is equally important, is let go. Let go of the grudge. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need to control your emotions against that person who might have wronged you. Let go of this necessity of righteousness. I am better. Of how they call it, virtue signaling. I am better, and I know that I'm better, and I'm telling everyone, I'm showing everyone that I'm better by not forgiving, but by not letting go. You don't need that. Let go and learn to breathe openly. Learn to open yourself towards the others. Learn to be at ease with what you are and who you are. And the world will dance around you, and you hopefully will dance with the world as well. And the third step, which has two components, but I prefer to make 3 steps, not 4 steps, because then it's complicated. 3 is easy to remember. Is to order your subconscious this: I forgive this person. Show me how. Show me the solution so that I can forgive. Don't try to implement this with your own conscious mind, because your conscious mind will start rationalizing. Your conscious mind will start explaining. Your conscious mind will start all sorts of rational trajectories and projections, and it will come in the way. No. Send this order to your subconscious mind: the necessity to forgive, the willingness to forgive, and it will deliver you the solution. Why is this happening? Because I'm firmly convinced that our subconscious mind is first of all, much better informed and much wiser than our conscious mind. And secondly, the subconscious mind is connected to what Carl Jung's called the collective subconscious, which has all sorts of information and has all this depth of knowledge and experience which we cannot access by any means. So in ordering this and giving this command to your subconscious, you allow it to find the best solution, the best way to forgive. Because there's a wrong way to forgive. It's the one we do because we have to do. That's only pushing down, deeper down, our negativity and our hatred and our grudges. Now this must happen organically, in harmony with your entire body, with your entire being, so that it is completed, finished in a sustainable manner, so that it doesn't come back to haunt you later on. So the first phase of step number 3 is to order your subconscious mind to find the best way to forgive. You can do it specifically: I want to forgive, so I'll forgive this person, show me how. Or you can say, I forgive everyone, show me how. So you can play with it. The second phase of the third step is, once you have the answer, and you'll have the answer, it will be much better than your conscious mind could ever solve. Once you have the solution, divide that solution into smaller solutions or into smaller steps. It will be a process. It won't be this. It will be a process. This is the solution. And then you divide that process into 2 smaller steps. And then each of those small steps you divide into 2 further smaller steps. And then each of those 2 further smaller steps you divide into even 2 smaller steps. And you do this until you have a chain of small incremental steps which you can implement very easily. Why to do this? Because, first of all, when you divide the big goal into smaller goals, into smaller incremental goals, it allows you to see if there are any inconsistencies or discrepancies throughout the way. So you can change them already in planning phase. And secondly, when you start walking towards your goal, there will be many distractions. There will be many iterations from outside, which you cannot control them, and they will derail you from your trajectory. But because you have your next big goal or your next bigger goal, they will derail you. But because you see you have the next goal, they will derail you only as far as the next goal. Sometimes these distractions, these derailments will be bigger. But nevertheless, because you have these intermediate bigger and bigger goals, you will come back on the original trajectory at some point, because you have these pillars. That's why this procedure allows you, on one hand, to move incrementally, so safely, not big steps, small steps, But on the other hand, when you are derailed on your way, to come back to the original trajectory because you have this increasingly bigger pillars. I do this in my everyday life. I have been doing this for a couple of months now, and I must say my life is much, much better. Not only more harmonious than ever before, but also I feel a sense of peace and ease and happiness with myself, and not happiness, fulfillment with myself and contentment. I think the Greeks call that eudaimonia or something like that. I'll have to check it out and make maybe a video on that. It is that feeling that you are at ease with yourself and with the universe and with everything around you. Of course there are failures, of course there are setbacks, of course there are disappointments, but this is all part of life. We're not supposed to live a happy life, because when happiness becomes the standard or default mode, it's not happiness, it's just the default mode. We're supposed to live a life full of experiences and full of, moments of joy and learning opportunities. I hope this helps. It helped me. And I'm happy to share this with you, and I'm looking forward to sharing as many such insights as possible with you all. Looking forward to welcoming you back here again. Love and peace to you all.